proceed for our first session on tailoring comprehensive brand model soon.
Our co-panelist has been already introduced by the previous speaker. Today we are going to talk about the tailoring comprehensive brand models. So I'll start with the extreme right. I'll ask Pawan to share his views and then we'll go one by one. Mr. Pawan, please.
Distinguished guests, faculty members, and day students, it's a privilege, and on behalf of the panel, I would like to thank you. It's quite an interesting topic, tailoring comprehensive brand model. I would just like to touch the grounds and will not go into any sort of product, what we have talked about. The day we are born, we are branded with the names. That's the first thing what we do. That's very, very important. And you know, your caretakers are your parents, which are like your companies who look after the employees. And they think about the prosperous path for you, the education, the housing environment, what they're going to give it to you. So I would say brand is not only associated with FMCG, consumer durables, or industrial goods. It's something very, very critical point which is touching everybody's life of all the human beings. So this is one point I would like to put forth. Second thing is, you know, brand is not only the thing which is consistent with the FMCG or consumer durables. I think I'm the odd one out here. I have been in projects development throughout my career of the last 25 years. I have seen India, which has evolved as a generic commodity, to what we are today as incredible India. So brand is something which is right from the scratch, from the micro level to the macro level, and we can say up to the country level, up to the national level. Apart from this, I would also like to state that how we can tailor it, make it a comprehensive brand. There are only two things which matter. One is the quality, what we deliver it to our clients. As our eminent speakers and the chief guests also put forth, you know, customer is the king. Deliver it what you have promised it today. So be firm on your promises and we try to deliver it in the quality, in the cost, in the times what you have promised. So as I said, I have been a projects person throughout my career. Now I think the brand is switching over from the product, from FMCG to the projects. For instance, if we are going from Delhi to Agra, we say. So please understand, this is a very, very important topic, branding. It's not associated with only products and services. It is touching with everybody's life in any area, in any category, in any segment. So that is something which I have put forth my experience about the branding and hand it over to the next speaker. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pawan. Hi, I'm Shukanto. Good morning to all of you. It really gladdens the cockles of my heart to be able to speak on a subject, I guess, which all of us are on the panel, my distinguished panel, and also to my other co-members who are here from the corporate. All of us are actually living this journey in terms of brand building and how brands are evolving. As Dr. Shiv, paucity of time, we'll have to pick up maybe a few sections on which we would like to kind of bring all of you on board. I think today, the way I see brands evolving or brand strategies evolving for future would be basically on two parameters. One is UI, which is user interface, and UX, which is user experience. Traditionally, the primal, I would say, driver of brand strategies or has always been trust. And trust, consistency, this is what we have learned. And it's always been the brand promoter or the brand manager or the brand developer who goes about communicating to the customer what he stands for. I guess that age is changing, and I have personally witnessed that thing happening. Brands are more and more going to get crowdsourced. It is not what we tell the customer what our brand stands for, but what he or she feels about or experiences the brand is. So I would like to throw a spanner into this idea of brand building and maybe call it brand dissolving. So we have to change our mindsets. I am doing that in terms of dissolving the brand identity and getting it to be co-created with customers. So basically what I mean is this: we move from being prescriptive in terms of talking about the brand values, maybe moving away from reach to reviews. So reach is not good enough. It is reviews which will matter going forward. Changing our mindset from actually talking about desirability or maybe giving a download through a television ad to discovery. To discovery. How often do we, really get charged when we actually go through an app which is easy to use and we say, "Oh my God." So that's going to be the primal driver of creating brands and brand strategies. Uh, as far as Vodafone is concerned, we are also going through this journey. Uh, we have traditionally been, the typical brand model kind of a company wherein we have a pillar, and then we also have what the brand stands for, and then we have the promise for the brand. So basically, the pillar and what proposition that we bring on, and then finally the brand promise. But we are evolving. Currently, the way we are looking at building our brand strategies is completely based upon CXX, which is customer experience excellence. And the entire brand strategy is getting evolved under the umbrella of something called CARE, which is CARE. And CARE stands for, C stands for connectivity, which is the purpose of our being into the business. A stands for universal accessibility. It's always in control. So the customer has always got to be in control wherever he or she is, whether it is connectivity through phone or being able to reach out through to the company through the app or be able to kind of access his accounts through the app. So A stands for accessibility and always in control. R stands for reward loyalty. So basically we are looking at how do we kind of connect and engage with our customers. Again, as Dr. Kumar pointed out, in terms of being able to reward loyal customers, the customers who have been with us. And finally, E stands for ease of access. The customer should be able to connect with us as easily as possible. So this is the umbrella under which we are trying to kind of drive our brand strategies. Again, focusing on the need of the future, which will be UI and UX. Over to you.
Thank you, Sukant. You have given a very lovely insight about how the Vodafone is looking upon in the consumer mind, and the new terminology like you are working upon YI and YX and more on the consumer experience, their desires, and their fulfilling their desires and how they experimental they are. So definitely this new dimension is will give some insights to the new generation which is here to listen all the eminent speakers. Now I request you to put forward your viewpoint.
Hi, it's Avinash, and good morning to everyone. Can everyone hear us? Great. So, as Pawan and Sukant they shared about different aspects of brand, and a very interesting point which Pawan touched about is being, I mean, once we are born, we are branded. Starting by our name, then what we should do by our parents, and then we start developing on that. So, I mean, coming from an e-commerce organization, Shop Clues, so we are only a 5-year-old company where for us everything is about the customers. So the brand, starting from the way we behave and way we interact with customers, it's all dependent on the customer itself. So we all hear about FMCG companies and other organizations where we say that brand is built over decades, definitely. But with this new generation, things are changing very dynamically. With, I mean, the point which Sukant also shared about, I mean, its brand is now more about customer reviews than what you try to advocate. So that's where the things are changing a lot. So let's hope that we have a lot of discussion on the things that how the brand perception is changing, with customers being able to share their views, not just listen to what brands sharing.
You rightly told that it's all about the consumer, and in the last session, as Siv told that now consumer is not only the king and queen, but they have the voice also. So it's very important that how frequently, how fast, how quick we listen the voice, how effectively we analyze, and then we respond to the situation. That's very important. Now I request Sandeep to put forward their voice on the topic.
Hello, friends. As my distinguished panel are speaking about the brand, so what I'm coming from a media house. So what we do day in and out is all about branding. Like we have to get into different brands which come across and set expectations which are towards the consumer. So what we have experienced in the past is that the brand perception is totally changing. Now the consumer expectations are around experience. So it's all started from selling goods, then products, then services. Now it's all about experience, what the consumer wants. So if you talk about a consumer, he have a different value sets towards him. A consumer buy your product, so he invest into it. He there is a time, there is a monetary cost which in form of his invest. There's a monetary cost. There is a energy cost, and there is a psychic cost which he invest in. And what he exactly want out of it is definitely a product value, which is very important from him. Then a service value, and then image value, and the most important is the personal value. That if you are representing a brand, it should be all throughout what exactly is being represented. Even a peon of your office should represent your brand and integrity, which is being shown by the top management. That's all, and I think we'll discuss more about it.
Thank you, Sandeep. Yes, the consumer has a lot of expectations, and they are the experience now with the exposure of this vast media after the TV. I mean, which has taken the center stage, and the awareness has gone from metro to the far rural areas, and their experience and expectations has gone to manyfold, and the company has to respond accordingly. And of course, the value for their investment in terms of time, energy, money, that should be taken care and rewarded accordingly. So thank you, and I request Deep Prakash Pant to share his views.
Thank you. Good morning, you all, and really appreciate the views from my industry colleagues, Shiv and Bipin earlier. So I think while you must have read and learned about brand and marketing theoretically, and I'm sure being the smart you are, the millennial we call it, you are also experiencing branding in real life. But my view is that you have to build brand and brand management in a 3 broad pillars. The first pillar is positioning. Now, what do you stand for as an organization or as an individual? So for example, Jaipuria says empower, enthuse, and excel. So this is your positioning or a tagline. And then everything around that positioning gets delivered as a product or a service promise. So positioning is very, very important. Whether you're a startup like MobiQuick and whether you're an established company like PepsiCo, you saw 2 different extremes. You're essentially there in the market solving a very unique, unsolvable business problem that you believe you can solve. And it all begins from there. And then you build the entire product and service offering backwards. The second piece is communication. Once you have positioned your niche or your offering, how do you communicate? And while there are traditional ways of communicating, which is inside out, I have a great product, I'm going to market it out, and somebody will buy and then talk about me or buy it again. But today, as my colleague said, it's actually reversing. It's an outside-in approach where the consumer or the end user is the king or queen, and they decide whether they want to experience or not experience your brand. So you have to seek their attention. And it's not a one-time job. You have to constantly seek their attention and keeping them engaged, right? That's where the loyalty and the brand recall comes into place. And third thing, while you have a great promise to deliver, a great product, but unless you have a great service, it all fall through. So you need to have a very, very sustained, continuous service management loop with the customer, right? When you think about customer service, you have Xerox in your mind, right? When you think about reliability, you have Maruti in your mind. When you think about Swadeshi pride, you have Patanjali in your mind, right? So these are very few examples where you say, can I associate my product or service with something that I stand for? And each and every product in my entire segmentation list stands for. And just to summarize it, at the heart of it is the consumer or the customer. But mind you, customer is not only one who is actually buying the product. In an enterprise, I call it digital enterprise, there are three segments of customers. One is the end user. One is the employee who's delivering the service to the customer. And one is the partner who's the ecosystem player who is helping you deliver the service. So in your entire brand positioning and your digital operating model in a digital enterprise, there are digital customers, there are digital employees, and there are digital partners. And what binds them together is technology, right? So whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's any other platform, what is actually on top of every customer's mind is, am I experiencing a service? And just to summarize before I hand over to my colleague is, there is enough intelligence in the market today where you can essentially mine the data. So this big data trend is happening. IBM is using Watson. There are other companies who are into big data. They're saying that this continuous billions of transactions, Vipin talked about 100 million people actually went out to just top up their mobiles. They're not doing it from a mobile phone, but when Vipin and team in MobiQuick use that mobile phone app, they essentially have the intelligence about each and every customer who's logging in his mobile phone app. That's what Google is doing with your data. Now, how do you use the data and translate that into actionable intelligence that allows your product manager, brand manager, to cause the experience real time and feed that back into your product development cycle? So Honda has cars for next 20 years, right? They don't have this car now in the market, but they're there in the labs because they know that if my particular car, a Honda City 2, phases out in the next 5 years, I can replace with a new car. And that is how the investment in research, in R&D, to fuel the brand promise will actually have longevity. So the companies in Tom Peters 100 fab or Dow Jones average 100 fab, there are only 5 or 6 companies today that are just rest vanished. G is a great example. I'm ex-G, so I can tell that. That is a 130-year-old company because they said that I'm going to creatively describe my brand. You mentioned about that. So I'm not stagnant, but I'm describing my brand. So I'm actually centrally creating ever engaging customers.